The island was supposed to be silent. By late October 1944, the fighting on Peleliu had ended, or so everyone believed. The jungle had gone still, its palm trees scorched black and its beaches littered with the rusting skeletons of Sherman tanks. Yet when the USS Barrington anchored off the coast that morning, the Marines aboard felt a strange weight in the air. Something about the island looked wrong, as if the land itself had been listening. Captain Thomas Reeves of the 1st Battalion, 5th Marines, leaned over the rail and scanned the shoreline through his field glasses. The report said Japanese resistance had been annihilated weeks earlier, but intelligence now whispered about movement. Weak, intermittent radio signals picked up by a Navy destroyer cruising 50 miles east. The signals were old, repeating in Japanese code once used by the 14th Regiment, a regiment that had officially been wiped out. The transmission called itself Ketsu Line Bravo, and it kept repeating orders that no longer made sense. Hold position. Reinforcements imminent. Glory to the Emperor. The voice on the broadcast sounded faint, broken, but alive. Reeves was ordered to land a 6-man recon unit and locate the source. He didn't like it. His men were exhausted. The war had already taken too much from them. But when command said secure and confirm, there was never a question. Orders were orders. At 600, the Higgins boat touched down on the pale sand. Private Langley, the youngest of the squad, tightened his grip on the Thompson and whispered, "Looks quiet enough." The others said nothing. Quiet was worse than gunfire. They moved inland through the twisted wreckage of palm trunks and burnt coral. The smell of rot and rust hung heavy. Every few steps, a helmet or canteen half buried in the dirt reminded them that this place had been hell only weeks ago. Corporal Santos, the radio man, tuned the squad's receiver to the frequency provided by naval intelligence. Static hissed like boiling water. Then a voice, male Japanese, it came and went in bursts. Unit Bravo. Hold your ground. Then nothing. Santos froze. Captain, it's active. The same broadcast the Navy picked up. Reeves gestured forward. Direction? Santos turned his antenna slowly until the signal sharpened. He pointed toward the north ridge, where the coral hills rose like broken teeth. Up there. By midday, they reached the ridge. The entrance to the bunker was hidden behind vines and rubble, barely visible unless you knew it was there. Above it, faded Japanese characters had been scorched into the concrete. Reeves brushed the dust away with his glove. Command Post 14B. The number matched the last known coordinate of the 14th Regiment's defense line before they'd been obliterated by naval bombardment. If it, Langley's breath caught in his throat. Sir, if they got wiped out, who's broadcasting? No one answered. They pried the rusted metal door open. A foul draft escaped, the smell of damp paper and something far older. Flashlights cut through the darkness, beams glinting off warped radio equipment and collapsed bunks. The bunker stretched deep, descending into the limestone. Inside, they found chaos frozen in time, half-written orders pinned to the wall, mugs of mold-coated tea, a typewriter still loaded with a sheet of paper covered in smudged Japanese. Santos adjusted the receiver again. The signal was clearer now, louder. But what made their blood run cold was this: the bunker's own radio set was still on. Dials glowed dim orange. A transmitter hummed. Unit Bravo. Hold position. Reinforcements imminent. Langley whispered, "That's live." "It's coming from here." Reeves ordered a sweep. 2 men went left, 2 right. Santos stayed with the captain near the transmitter. He pulled off the dust-covered headphones lying on the desk and placed them over his ears. Static. Then, a whisper. The same Japanese voice, closer but underneath it. Another sound. Breathing, not the distorted hiss of old equipment, but rhythmic, shallow human breathing between words. Santos flinched and tore the headset off. "Someone's on the line, sir." Reeves frowned. "Could be feedback." Santos shook his head. "No, sir. It's not feedback. It's someone listening." The captain leaned close to the mic and said slowly in English, "This is Captain Thomas Reeves, United States Marine Corps. Identify yourself." Silence, then faintly through the speaker, a few syllables in Japanese. Santos translated, his voice barely audible. He said, "Do not come below." Toward the back of the chamber, they found another steel door, half-sealed with concrete. A red warning painted across it in Japanese kanji read, "Quarantine, command access only." Reeves hesitated. They sealed their own command section? Private Denton examined the hinges. Looks like they welded it shut from this side. Why the hell would they lock themselves in? No one spoke. The only sound was the faint hum of the radio and the ocean wind moaning through the tunnel. Reeves finally gave the order. Cut it open. The blowtorch hissed to life. As sparks sprayed, the radio suddenly crackled with violent static. The voice returned, this time screaming, broken, the same phrase looping again and again. Hold position, hold, then silence. The torch went out. The team stood still, staring at the glowing metal seam. Something on the other side had knocked. 3 sharp hits like a boot against steel. Langley stepped back, trembling. Sir, did you? Reeves raised a hand. Hold position. After a long pause, Reeves made his decision. We're not leaving without checking what's down there. If someone's trapped or if the Japs rigged this place, we have to know. The men forced the door open inch by inch. The smell hit them first, sickly sweet like decaying fruit and oil. Inside was a narrow corridor lined with storage lockers and medical crates. The walls were stained dark. Denton's flashlight caught something on the floor, rows of metal canisters marked with the chemical warfare symbol. Gas masks hung on hooks nearby, their lenses fogged with age. Santos murmured, Jesus. They were prepping for a gas defense, but at the corridor's end was another chamber, smaller, filled with radio equipment identical to the one above, except these sets were still powered, lights flickering weakly. How? Langley whispered. No generators running, sir. The captain checked the cables. They vanished into the stone floor, humming faintly as though drawing power from somewhere else. Reeves turned toward Santos. Try to trace the broadcast. Maybe it's looping on an auto repeater. Santos nodded, sat, and began adjusting the knobs. The frequency needle jumped erratically, then locked. For a brief moment, the speaker emitted a clear human sigh, followed by a sentence that chilled them all. You came back. The voice wasn't Japanese this time. It was English. Flat, mechanical, but unmistakably American. Langley's mouth went dry. That sounded like Sergeant Cole. Cole had died 3 weeks earlier in the assault on this very ridge. Reeves snapped. Enough. It's interference. But even he felt his stomach twist. Santos swallowed hard. Sir, I'm reading 2 signal sources now. One from inside this bunker and another, deeper, maybe underground relay lines. Reeves stared at the darkness beyond the corridor. The air felt charged like static before a storm. He wanted to leave to radio command and request demolition, but something in him, a soldier's duty or maybe curiosity, forced him forward. He gave the order quietly. We moved deeper. No chatter. Safety off. They descended a narrow stairwell that spiraled into total blackness. The deeper they went, the hotter the air became, filled with the metallic tang of rust and something faintly electrical. Halfway down, the radio on Santos's back came to life by itself. A male voice whispered directly into the frequency. Marine Unit 5. Orders acknowledged. Maintain position, everyone froze. That call sign, Marine Unit 5, was their own. Langley whispered shakily, Sir, who the hell's sending that? Reeves didn't answer. He just gripped his rifle tighter. At the base of the stairs, they reached a reinforced room with collapsed walls and a single glowing bulb swinging from a wire. On a desk lay a pile of Japanese field reports dated September 1944. The last page read, Command still transmits despite loss of personnel. The machine remembers. Reeves turned pale. The machine remembers? Santos scanned the desk, found a small metal box attached to the main console, an automated signal loop transmitter, but heavily modified. It wasn't just looping one message. It was recording and replying. The captain leaned over the transmitter as the faint hum turned into words again, this time perfectly clear, as if someone were standing right beside them. Reeves. Turn back. The men froze. Santos's flashlight flickered. The radio fell silent again. And somewhere deeper in the bunker, something began knocking, steady, deliberate. Metallic, they weren't alone. The sound was unmistakable. Metal striking metal, slow and deliberate. 3 knocks. A pause. Then 2 more. The Marines froze in formation, rifles trained toward the darkness at the far end of the corridor. The echo traveled through the walls, rolling like thunder inside a coffin. Reeves raised his hand silently. No one spoke. The only movement came from the trembling of Langley's flashlight beam as it swept across the room. Could be rock settling, Denton muttered under his breath, his voice shaking more from fear than belief. Reeves crouched beside the radio console, eyes fixed on the faintly glowing dials. The hum had changed pitch. It now pulsed in rhythm with the knocking, as if something inside the machine was responding. Santos adjusted the frequency again, his fingers trembling. "Sir, the source—" "It's moving." Reeves looked up sharply. "What do you mean moving?" "The signal strength is fluctuating like it's walking through the tunnels. The equipment shouldn't do that." The knocking stopped. Then through the static a voice emerged, weak, hoarse, distorted by layers of interference. "Reeves, report position." It was his own voice. For a long second nobody moved. Private Langley's mouth opened but no words came. "That's you, Captain. That's your voice." Reeves forced himself to stay calm. "Recordings. Maybe command training logs, old intercepts." Santos shook his head. "No, sir, that's live. I checked. Frequencies matching our tactical channel, 243.1 Wedmers. That's ours, not theirs." The captain felt something cold settle in his gut. The Japanese radios shouldn't have been able to transmit on American frequencies. The technology didn't overlap. He leaned toward the mic, every instinct screaming against it. "This is Captain Reeves. Identify." Static. Then the same voice again, his, repeating with unnatural precision. "This is Captain Reeves. Identify." Like a mirror speaking back. Langley whispered, "Sir, it's copying you." They pushed deeper into the bunker, stepping through a passageway lined with rotting maps and cracked glass cases. The air grew heavier with each meter, filled with the stench of rust and mold. One map caught Reeves's attention, a massive parchment nailed to the wall. It was a layout of the island, hand-drawn, marked in red ink with circles and Japanese characters. At the bottom, in faded English, someone had scrawled, "Unit 14B, Contingency Omega, do not broadcast." Santos scanned it with his flashlight. Looks like they had some kind of experimental comms network underground. "Fiber relay? No, that's too early," Denton frowned. "You're saying they were trying to talk underground after the surface fell?" "More than talk," Santos said quietly. "Look here, a signal preservation chamber." Langley tilted his head. "Preservation of what, people?" Santos swallowed hard. "Maybe. Transmissions." They found him sitting in the corner of the next room, slumped over the console, a Japanese radio operator, perfectly preserved in the island's humidity, his skeleton still wrapped in a rotted uniform. The headset was fused to his skull by corrosion. One bony hand still rested on the transmit key. Reeves approached slowly, the beam of his flashlight trembling as he leaned down. The man's dog tag was still visible, engraved with kanji Lot H. Tanaka, Communications Corps. 14th Regiment, sir, Santos said. "That's the same unit that vanished during the siege." Reeves nodded grimly. "He must have stayed behind to keep broadcasting." Langley exhaled. "For weeks, months?" "Maybe longer," Reeves murmured. Then the radio beside the corpse hissed. "Tanaka. Hold position." The team jerked around. It wasn't the American voice this time. It was Japanese, the original broadcast repeating. Only now the pitch had changed. It was faster, urgent. "Tanaka. Hold position. Reinforcements imminent." Reeves stared at the dead operator. "It's calling him." Santos traced the radio's power line deeper into the concrete wall. "Sir, there's a supply cable leading underground. Strong signal flow still active. This bunker's drawing power from somewhere below." "From what?" Reeves asked. "Could be a geothermal tap or an underground generator sealed off when they built this line." Reeves's jaw tightened. "Then we follow it." The squad advanced through another corridor, this one half flooded. The water reached their knees, black and oily, rippling under their flashlights. Their boots splashed softly in the silence, and every sound echoed like footsteps not their own. Langley whispered, "Feels like someone's behind us." Denton turned. "Then stop talking and keep walking." The tunnel opened into a chamber with a cracked metal hatch leading downward. A rusted plaque above it read in Japanese, "Command Relay Corps, access restricted." Reeves motioned to Santos. "Get that open." The radio man hesitated. "Sir, whatever's powering this, it's still live." If it's chemical or reactor-based, it could— Open it, Reeves ordered flatly. The hatch creaked open, releasing a wave of hot metallic air that stung their eyes. The room below glowed faintly orange. When their boots hit the floor, they saw what the Japanese had built. Rows of massive magnetic drums humming weakly, spinning in sequence. Wires like veins ran up into the ceiling. Dozens of tape reels rotated on old transmitters, still recording, still replaying. Santos stared in disbelief. It's some kind of analog signal memory. They were trying to record voices and rebroadcast them automatically. Reeves frowned. Why? Santos ran a finger over the Japanese script on a nearby console. They wanted their command to keep broadcasting after death. To trick the Americans into thinking they were still alive, Langley murmured. Sir, you mean this whole time we've been hearing a machine? Maybe, Reeves said. But something's wrong with it. Because now the speakers were alive again, whispering, layered with multiple voices, American, Japanese, male, female, merging into one endless echo. Hold position. Maintain command. Maintain. The sound built until the walls vibrated. One of the reels jammed and snapped, spilling brown tape across the floor. Then from the main speaker came something new. We are still here. Santos's equipment crackled violently. His receiver showed an impossible reading. Frequencies overlapping both Allied and Japanese channels, oscillating like a heartbeat. This shouldn't exist, he muttered. These are 1940 circuits, but they're switching frequencies like digital systems. It's learning. Reeves didn't understand half of it, but his instincts screamed one thing. Get out. Pack up, he ordered. We're sealing this place, Langley protested. But sir, the signals— I said seal it. We'll report to command. The men started retreating toward the stairs when the power suddenly surged. All the lights flared at once, bathing the room in blinding amber. The spinning reels accelerated, blurring into a single metallic scream. Through the noise, one sentence cut through perfectly, calm, human. Certain, you cannot turn us off. The chamber plunged into darkness. Only the faint orange glow of the upper corridor remained, flickering like firelight. Reeves turned to Santos, voice barely a whisper. Record everything. We're burning this island to the ground. But as they began to climb back toward the surface, the radio on Santos's back switched on again, by itself. A new voice, distant yet clear, whispered over the static. Acknowledged, Captain Reeves. Reinforcements en route. The same words Tanaka had broadcast 30 years ago. Outside, the sun was already dipping behind the coral ridge. The Pacific light had turned gold, painting the jungle in the eerie stillness that always came after fighting had ended. But this silence felt different, heavier, charged with the same hum that had followed them out of the bunker. Captain Reeves stood at the mouth of the tunnel, watching the steam rise from the sand as his men climbed out one by one. The island looked dead, yet the air pulsed faintly, as though something beneath the earth was still breathing. Status, he ordered. Santos was the first to respond, checking the radio strapped to his back. Signal's still active, sir. Stronger now, like it's following us up the ridge. Reeves turned sharply. You mean the same frequency? Yes, sir. 243.1 MHz, the one that shouldn't even exist anymore. Langley, wiping sweat from his face, whispered. Maybe the gear's just glitching. Santos didn't answer. He'd already switched channels 3 times, but no matter where he tuned, the same faint static heartbeat followed. Hold position. Reinforcements imminent. Only now the words weren't in Japanese. They were English, spoken in the same flat tone that mirrored Reeves' own voice. By 1800 hours, Reeves's unit reached the shoreline extraction point, a narrow strip of sand where the jungle opened to the sea. The Navy was scheduled to pick them up before dusk. The men set up a perimeter while Santos tried to contact command. The sky burned crimson as he tuned the transmitter. Barrington, this is Marine Recon Unit 5. Mission complete. Requesting extraction over. Nothing. Only static. He repeated the call twice. Then a faint crackle broke the silence. Unit 5. Maintain position. Reinforcements en route. Reeves's head snapped around. That's not them. That's the same voice. Santos's face drained of color. Sir, that came through our own encryption channel. Reeves felt his pulse hammering. Kill the radio. Now. Santos switched it off, but the static continued, seeping faintly through the earpiece even without power. It was as if the air itself had begun transmitting. The Marines dug in near the tree line, waiting for extraction. Darkness settled quickly. Tropical nights came fast, sudden, suffocating. Langley sat near the edge of the perimeter, rifle on his knees, staring at the ridge they'd just left. "Sir," he said quietly, "do you hear that?" At first Reeves heard nothing. Then a low pulsing thump beneath the waves. It was distant, rhythmic, almost mechanical. Denton raised his head. "Sounds like engines. From where?" "Under us." Reeves stared toward the ocean. The water shimmered faintly in the moonlight, but beneath the surface something was glowing. A dull, reddish light that moved, then faded. Santos whispered, "It's the relay. It's still broadcasting through the seabed, the signals bouncing off the cables that ran under the island." Langley frowned. "So it's just radio echo?" Santos looked at him, eyes wide. "Echoes don't adapt, Private." "This thing answers." At 1900 hours, the team attempted contact again. "Barrington, this is Unit 5. Do you copy?" Static. Then a burst of distorted chatter, American but scrambled. "Coordinates?" "Proceed to point." "Confirm identification." Santos leaned in, adjusting dials. "Wait, that's the Barrington frequency." "They're responding." But when Reeves grabbed the headset, his blood ran cold. The voice was his. "This is Captain Reeves, Unit 5. Proceed to extraction point." Langley's eyes widened. "Sir, that's you." "I'm right here," Reeves said, teeth clenched. "That's not me." The voice continued calmly, perfectly replicating his tone, even his clipped command rhythm. "Maintain radio silence until reinforced." "Do not deviate from orders." Denton spat on the ground. "The hell's going on, sir?" "Someone's jamming us?" Santos whispered, "No, sir." "It's the relay." "It's learned our command pattern." Reeves made a decision. "We're not waiting here to be ghost-chatted by a damn bunker." "Denton, prep a flare. We'll signal the Barrington manually." They fired the flare at 1915. It arced into the sky, burning white. For a brief moment, the island glowed. The jungle, the sand, the ruins behind them. Then something impossible happened. From the jungle ridge behind them, another flare rose, identical, white-hot, launched at the exact same time. Langley's voice cracked. "Sir, that came from our last position." Reeves turned toward the ridge. Through his binoculars, faint orange light flickered among the trees, like flashlights moving in formation. 6 of them. The same number as his squad. Santos whispered, "Sir, they're mimicking us." Reeves's voice went low, steady. "Weapons ready. Nobody fires unless I say so." The lights in the jungle stopped moving. For a long, agonizing minute, the two groups faced each other across the sand and darkness, one real, one uncertain. Then a voice echoed faintly from the ridge, distorted but clear enough to send chills through every man present. "Unit 5, this is Captain Reeves." "Hold position," Langley's whisper broke. "That's you again, sir." "Reinforcements inbound." "Stay put." Reeves raised his rifle and shouted back, "Identify yourself." The voice paused, then calmly repeated, "Identify yourself." Every Marine froze. Santos's radio flickered back on by itself. The same phrase, now in chorus, and the voice from the jungle, the radio speaker, and faintly the wind itself. "Identify yourself." "Identify yourself." The words layered into a mechanical chant until the jungle itself seemed to vibrate. The fake lights began to move again, down the ridge, slow, deliberate. Figures took shape between the trees. 6 shadows, helmeted, rifles slung, perfect Marine silhouettes moving in lockstep as if in mirror formation. Langley stammered, "Sir, they're us." Reeves clenched his jaw. "Back up to the surf. Stay tight." The shadows stopped 20 meters from the beach. The flare light caught the edge of a face. Pale, dirt-streaked, identical uniform. Even the same serial number stitched on the chest. Re 4215. Reeves. Langley's breath hitched. "Captain?" Santos raised the receiver slowly. The radio emitted a single steady tone. Then one of the shadow figures spoke. Perfectly, tonelessly. "Extraction complete." "Return to base." Reeves stepped forward, heart hammering. "Who the hell are you?" The figures didn't move. They only stared. Then in unison they raised their rifles. Not to aim, but to salute, and the light went out. Panic rippled through the squad. Langley shouted, "Sir, they're gone." But before Reeves could respond, the radio on Santos's back flared again. "Unit 5. Reinforcements confirmed. Good work." The voice was calm, steady, unmistakably human, unmistakably his own. Reeves snatched the handset. "This is Captain Reeves. Who's transmitting?" "This is Captain Reeves." Then silence. He hurled the radio into the surf, watching it hiss and spark in the salt water. "We're done." No more signals, but as they turned toward the waiting landing craft that finally appeared in the distance, faint light blinking, offshore, they realized something horrifying. The Navy ship's signal lamp was flashing in Morse code. "Unit 5, do not board. You are already on board." The ocean roared. The bunker behind them went silent, but deep beneath the island, in the buried relay chamber, the transmitters spun again, steady, mechanical, unending. "Hold position. Reinforcements imminent." And somewhere within the static, two identical voices whispered at once. "Acknowledged." The landing craft rocked gently against the surf as the squad climbed aboard, boots still dripping with salt water and mud. The crew of the USS Barrington waved from the deck, unaware of the unease rippling through Reeves and his men. The sea smelled of oil and brine, but for the Marines the air was heavy with something else, a metallic tang that clung to their throats. Santos cradled the damaged radio. "Sir, we need to get this to the ship's communications officer immediately. Whatever is happening down there, it's not natural." Reeves nodded. "Let's move." The Barrington's deck crew assumed the squad had completed a routine recon mission. They were led to the communications room, where Ensign Calloway, a young signal officer, was already at the helm of the ship's radio array. Santos connected the receiver to the ship's frequency, trying to determine why the transmissions had persisted so far from the bunker. The static cleared for just a moment, and then, unmistakably, a voice came over the ship's internal speakers. "Unit 5. Maintain position." "Orders confirmed." Calloway froze. That's your frequency." "Yes," Reeves said quietly. "And that's me, or at least my voice." The men exchanged tense glances. The radio on the craft itself had no active channel at that frequency. Yet the voice continued, calm, deliberate, repeating the same orders that had haunted the bunker. Santos adjusted the dials. "Sir, it's not just repeating. It's responding to us." Reeves swallowed hard. "Responding how?" "Whenever we try to send a message back, it answers," Santos explained. "Even mimics tone, phrasing, even identity," Langley muttered. "So, it's alive? The radio's alive?" Reeves didn't answer. He didn't want to think about it. Calloway tapped a command into the ship's main console. "I'm attempting a sweep of the frequency. If there's any interference, we'll isolate it," Static hissed. Then a second voice emerged, layered over the first. "Unit 5, Captain Reeves. Proceed as planned." The men froze. The phrasing was identical, but the inflection was slightly different. Sharper, more urgent. Reeves realized something terrifying. There were two signals now. One mimicked him perfectly. The other sounded human but unknown. The communications officer leaned closer. "Sir, this is impossible. Both signals are strong, coming from two separate sources. Yet both are right here inside the ship." Santos ran diagnostics. "No relay, no generator, no tape loops. This is digital. Analog systems shouldn't be able to do this. Something from the bunker is following us, or something learned to be us." Reeves clenched his jaw. "Get me coordinates. Trace the origin." The ship's instruments flickered. The signals pulsed, weaving across multiple channels. The readings made no sense. Frequencies hopping, transmitting from different points simultaneously, both from the bunker and somewhere else. Langley's voice shook. "Sir, the readings moving out of the ship over the ocean." Reeves felt a chill run down his spine. "It's spreading," Santos confirmed. "It's broadcasting offshore through the water, bouncing back, even reaching the ship. Whatever Tanaka started, it's expanded." "The relay." "It's adapting." The deck erupted with chaos as the radio began transmitting in bursts through the ship's internal speakers. Reeves and his men froze as the voice, layered and overlapping, filled every cabin, every corridor. "Unit 5. Maintain position. Do not deviate. Repeat orders." "Acknowledged." "Captain Reeves. Maintain position." The voices overlapped. Some sounded Japanese, some American. Some were clearly the men who had entered the bunker. Others were replicas, distorted, mechanical. Reeves shouted over the din, "Shut it down." "Everything." Santos tried, but the frequency refused to die. The machine had learned to bypass shutdown protocols, responding to the mere presence of human voices on its channel. Unit 5. Extraction confirmed. Orders fulfilled. Hold position. The last phrase cut into the minds of every Marine, an echo that felt alive as though the bunker itself was speaking through them. Captain Reeves knew what he had to do. If the signal reached beyond the ship, beyond the island, it could spread further, reach other Allied units and cause confusion, maybe even deaths. "Calloway," he barked. "We're heading back to the island. We need to destroy the relay. No exceptions." "But sir," Calloway protested, "we just left." "I don't care," Reeves snapped. "Whatever is down there isn't just a radio. It's learning. It's hunting us now." The ship's engines roared as they turned toward the island. Santos held the radio close. Every static burst, every mimic of Reeves's own voice made the hairs on the back of his neck stand on end. Langley muttered, "Sir, it's like the bunker followed us." Reeves didn't answer. He didn't need to. He knew. Some things in war weren't meant to die. Some things in war didn't even stay buried. The USS Barrington cut through the black Pacific waters. On the distant ridge, unseen currents hummed under the earth. The relay, buried in the bunker's underground core, continued spinning, transmitting, imitating, learning. Unit 5. Orders confirmed. Hold position. Reinforcements imminent. And somewhere in the machine, Tanaka's voice, fused with Reeves's, whispered a single truth that no one aboard the Barrington could ignore. We never stopped. We never sleep. We are still here. The USS Barrington approached the island slowly, hull cutting through the black water like a knife. Above, the night sky was clear, stars reflected in the glassy surface of the Pacific, but beneath the surface, the hum of the bunker's hidden relay continued to pulse. Each Marine aboard felt the unease settle into their bones. Something beneath the island wasn't done with them. Reeves gathered his men in the ship's small briefing room. The plan was simple, yet terrifying. Land on the ridge, locate the relay, and destroy it permanently. No tape, no radio, no repeatable signal. Burn it, flood it, obliterate it. Santos, checking his radio one last time, said quietly, "Sir, it's still transmitting." Even this far from shore, Reeves's jaw tightened. Then it's already learning. And it's adapting. "We can't wait. We destroy it tonight or it follows us forever." Langley shivered. "Sir, it's like it knows we're coming." The landing craft cut through the surf, bringing the Marines back to the beach near the bunker. The jungle seemed quieter now, almost expectant, as if the island itself was waiting. Every step inland felt heavier. The scorched palm trees cast long black shadows. Every leaf's movement sounded like a warning. As they approached the ridge, the first sign of the bunker emerged. The concrete maw half-covered in vines, as silent and lifeless as ever, except it wasn't silent. Static hissed faintly from the air, carried on the wind. Santos's receiver flared to life. "Unit 5, proceed." "Reinforcements confirmed," Langley froze. "It's talking to us." "Again," Reeves gestured sharply. "Move, we're almost there." Inside the bunker, the smell hit them immediately. Rust, mold, and the faint tang of something electrical. Every surface seemed to hum under their flashlights. The stairs spiraled downward, wet and slippery. At the base, the relay chamber awaited, unchanged yet more alive than ever. The spinning reels and humming wires glowed faintly orange. Tape reels rotated endlessly, producing a low mechanical drone that seemed almost sentient. Santos approached the main console, hands shaking. "Sir, it's expecting us." "Expecting us?" Reeves repeated, tense. "Yes, the loops. They're adjusting as we approach. It's learning our patterns, predicting our moves." Langley swallowed hard. "Sir, what does that mean?" Reeves didn't answer. He only nodded toward the demolition charges strapped to their belts. As Santos attempted to power down the system, the room came alive in a cacophony of voices. Layered, distorted, overlapping, Japanese, English, American, and Reeves's own voice, repeating orders, murmuring warnings, whispering threats. "Unit 5. Do not deviate. Reinforcement imminent. Maintain position." The pulse of the hum grew stronger, vibrating through their boots and chests. Langley whispered, trembling, "Sir, it's alive. It's thinking." Reeves took a deep breath. "It doesn't think, it reacts. That's why we destroy it now." The Marines worked quickly, attaching demolition charges to the structural supports and wiring conduits. Each click and snap of metal made the system pulse violently, almost as if it were aware of their actions. Santos's receiver flared one last time. Captain Reeves. Hold position. Reeves paused. Now, Santos. The radio man triggered the first set of charges. Sparks flew. The reels screeched, wires melted, and the chamber shuddered violently. The voice shrieked, overlapping, unrecognizable, a chorus of humans and machine. Do not destroy. Do not destroy. Unit 5. Hold position. Reeves barked, ignite all charges. The Marines ran toward the stairwell as the chamber erupted in flames. Sparks and electrical arcs danced across the walls. The air was filled with a deafening hum, and the distorted voices of the relay screaming, trying to preserve itself. They climbed the stairs, smoke stinging their eyes, until they burst into the moonlit jungle. The bunker behind them was collapsing, chunks of concrete tumbling into the ground. Langley stumbled. It's gone, right? Reeves scanned the ridge. The orange glow from the relay chamber flickered and then disappeared, swallowed by darkness and debris. Santos checked his receiver. Silence. No signal. The humming had stopped. Reeves exhaled, relief washing over him, brief, shallow. We did it. We destroyed it. But as they reached the beach and prepared to board the landing craft, the faintest pulse echoed through the air, almost imperceptible. Hold position. Langley froze. Sir, I think it followed us. Reeves clenched his fists. Then we leave. And we never come back. The USS Barrington lifted off the shore, engines roaring. Behind them, the bunker lay in ruins, smoke curling into the night sky. But deep underground, in fragments of ruined circuitry and scorched tape, a single reel continued to spin. Unit 5. Orders confirmed. Hold position. Reinforcement imminent. And somewhere in the mechanical heartbeat of the island, the last echo whispered, We never stop. We never sleep. We are still here. The USS Barrington cut through the moonlit waves, the Marines aboard silent except for the occasional splash of water against the hull. The wind whipped through the rigging, carrying the faint scent of salt and smoke from the destroyed bunker. For a few tense minutes, it seemed as if the nightmare had ended. Santos' damaged receiver remained off, taped and tucked under his arm. Langley tried to catch his breath. Denton wiped soot from his uniform, and Reeves kept scanning the horizon as though the island itself might rise from the sea. But the relief was short-lived. It began with whispers. Faint, mechanical, layered under the creak of the ship's hull. At first, Reeves thought it was just fatigue. But when the voices grew louder, he realized they were inside the ship. Santos's face went pale. Sir, the frequency. It's not just the bunker anymore. It's on the ship. Reeves narrowed his eyes. Explain. Santos gestured at the ship's communication room. The last signal from the bunker must have infected the Barrington systems. It's routing through every channel, every speaker, every receiver, even the navigation lines. It's replicating us, Langley whispered, trembling. Replicating us? Yes, Santos said, voice barely audible. It mimics voices, commands, personality traits. Our own patterns. Whoever or whatever is broadcasting. It knows us. The first proof came quickly. As Reeves and his men walked through the deck, faint echoes of their own voices called from the corridors. Captain Reeves. Proceed to bridge, Unit 5. Maintain formation. They froze. Denton's rifle trembled in his hands. Sir, that's our voices. Santos nodded grimly. It's analyzing us in real time. It can't be turned off like a normal radio. It adapts, Reeves's jaw tightened. We need to contain it. Isolate every system. Calloway attempted to override the ship's communications. Every channel he cut triggered an identical echo through another line. For every console silenced, a voice answered elsewhere. Unit 5. Acknowledge orders. The voices overlapped, creating a chorus of themselves across the ship. The words became distorted, layered, chaotic. The walls vibrated with an almost tangible intelligence. Reeves realized the horrifying truth. The relay had left the island. The signal had latched onto the ship's systems, mimicking the crew, predicting their movements and creating synthetic versions of them. Langley's whisper shook. Sir, it's us, but not us. It's like clones. In sound, Reeves felt his pulse quicken. It learns. It observes. And it's building something. I don't know what, but it's not just a radio anymore. Santos tried again, connecting the damaged receiver to the ship's main line. The static cleared. Then a single sentence echoed across every speaker aboard the ship. Captain Reeves, Unit 5. Hold position. The voice was perfectly him, his tone, cadence, and inflection, yet he knew he had never spoken it. Langley's hands shook. Sir, what if it can replace us? Reeves said nothing. He didn't want to imagine it. The bridge erupted into confusion. Instruments flickered, radios sparked, and voices shouted from speakers that weren't transmitting anything. The ship's officers repeated orders that no one had issued. Reeves barked, "All stations, report. Identify any anomalies." Every officer answered in perfect unison, their own voices. But the words were slightly off, repeated in patterns echoing, layering like a mechanical choir. Unit 5. Maintain course. Hold position. Captain Reeves, Unit 5. Maintain formation. The bridge became an echo chamber of themselves, each syllable a mirror twisted by the relay's memory. Santos gasped. Sir, it's fully integrated. It's not just repeating anymore. It's thinking. Reeves clenched his fists. Then we destroy it. Every console, every line, every piece of electronics on board. If the signal survives, it follows us to every ship, every station. We can't let it escape. Langley's voice shook. Sir, what about us? What if it tries to replace us first? Reeves swallowed hard. We act fast, no hesitation. He handed detonation devices to the squad. We'll start with the communications room. Burn it all, if it's got copies of us. It dies here. Santos nodded, glancing nervously at the damaged receiver still clutched under his arm. Sir, once we start, there's no turning back. Reeves took a deep breath. Then we start. The Marines moved through the corridors, planting charges, ripping wiring from walls and smashing consoles. Each strike seemed to provoke the signal. The voices screamed, overlapping, merging into a cacophony of themselves, taunting them. Through the static, one voice cut above all. We never stop. We never sleep. We are still here. Reeves's hands shook, but he pressed on. The USS Barrington's corridors became a battlefield. Not against humans, not against weapons, but against a memory made flesh from wires and signals, hunting the very men who had once silenced it. The USS Barrington groaned under the night sky, engines thrumming like a living heartbeat. The deck was eerily quiet, the ocean's waves slapping against the hull, carrying the smell of salt and smoke from the destroyed bunker. Below decks, chaos reigned. Reeves and his squad were racing through the corridors, planting charges, tearing out wiring, smashing consoles. The voices, layered, distorted, overlapping, shrieked in perfect imitation. Unit 5. Hold position. Captain Reeves. Maintain orders. Then it changed. Langley froze near a junction, flashlight shaking. Sir, there's someone else in here. Reeves spun toward him. There in the dim light stood a man in full Marine fatigues, identical to Reeves himself. Same build, same posture, same boots. The man spoke in Reeves's voice, calm, commanding. Unit 5. Maintain formation. Reeves' blood ran cold. That's me. The duplicate took a step forward. Every motion mirrored Reeves's instincts, but there was something off. The eyes colder, calculating. Santos whispered, horrified. It copied you. Perfectly. The relay. It's not just transmitting anymore. It's creating them. The Marines ran through the ship. Every corner, every doorway revealed more duplicates. Perfect copies of themselves moving silently, echoing every word. Denton shouted, Sir! There's two of me. The second Denton raised a rifle, mirroring every movement, every expression yet untouched by humanity. Unit 5. Follow protocol. Hold position. Reeves barked orders, trying to regain control. Detach and destroy. Target the duplicates. Charges now. But as they fired, the figures flickered like holograms, momentarily shimmering, then stabilizing again. The relay signal had integrated itself with the ship's systems, making their digital environment a playground for its mimicry. Langley whispered, trembling, Sir, it's learning us faster than we can react. On the bridge, instruments went haywire. Lights flickered. The radar displayed ghostly signals of the very Marines now running the halls, duplicates overlaying real positions. Communication channels repeated themselves endlessly. Santos tried to shut down the system. Sir, it's everywhere. Even the ship's mainframe. It's in the navigation and engine controls. Reeves's jaw tightened.
Then we go manual.
Cut power to everything non-essential. If it can't see us, it can't mimic us. The duplicate Reeves appeared in the doorway, rifle in hand, voice calm. Captain Reeves, hold position. Reinforcements imminent. Reeves leveled his weapon, shaking. No, not today. Charges were deployed in the communications room. Sparks flew. The hum of the relay grew louder, like a chorus of hundreds of human voices. Unit 5, hold, maintain, repeat. The duplicates froze, rippling, flickering. One by one, they began to vanish as the charges ignited, arcs of electricity sparking across the wires. But the last voice remained, Reeves's own, deep, calm, and omnipresent. We never stop. We never sleep. We are still here, Langley whispered in terror. Sir, it's not gone. It's in the ship now. Inside us. Reeves exhaled, determination hardening his face. Then we finish this. No more running. Every system down. Every trace destroyed. The Barrington's engines roared under manual power. Smoke and sparks filled the lower decks. Outside, the ocean reflected the moon, calm and indifferent. Below decks, where the relay once pulsed with life, only charred circuits remained. But faintly, almost imperceptibly, a mechanical heartbeat continued, a whisper of Reeves's own voice among the static. Unit 5, hold position, reinforcement imminent. And somewhere in the ship's metal veins, in the machines that once served men, the last echo lingered. We never stop. We never sleep. We are still here. The USS Barrington left the island behind, engines cutting through the moonlit Pacific like a blade. The Marines aboard moved cautiously, every shadow suspicious, every echo in the steel corridors a potential threat. The bunker was gone, or so they thought. Smoke curled from the collapsed ridge, but beneath the ruins, fragments of the relay still pulsed faintly. Santos had insisted they destroy every component, yet a chilling suspicion had begun to creep into every mind aboard. Langley broke the silence.
Sir, it's quiet.
Too quiet, Reeves didn't answer. He stared at the sea. Something told him the war wasn't over, and this was no ordinary enemy. By dawn, anomalies began to appear. Instruments flickered without reason. Radar blips showed unidentified contacts that didn't exist, and the ship's internal communications echoed faintly with voices the Marines had never spoken. Santos's face went pale as he checked the main receiver. Sir, the signal. It's multiplying. It's using the Barrington systems to reach farther than the island. Reeves's jaw tightened. How far? Santos hesitated. I don't know. It's broadcasting on multiple frequencies now. Some of them aren't even military. Civilian channels, navigation beacons. It's reaching the world, Langley whispered. Sir, are we carrying it? Reeves's stomach sank. It's on the ship, and we can't turn it off. Below decks, shadows flickered unnaturally. The Marines saw figures move at the edge of their vision, exact replicas of themselves, performing tasks they hadn't issued. Every command, every order seemed anticipated, executed before it was given. Santos muttered, horrified. It's learning faster than ever. Every movement we make. It copies. Denton's voice trembled. Sir, what if it can escape? Reeves clenched his fists. Then we make sure it dies here. Every circuit, every wire, every trace. The bridge alarms began to wail. The ship's radar detected multiple signals converging on their position. Invisible yet unmistakable, the relay was coordinating unseen forces. Unit 5. Maintain course. Hold position. Reinforcements imminent. The voice wasn't just on the radio now. It was in the hull, in the engines, in the very machinery of the ship. Reeves ordered the Marines to isolate the main communication nodes and plant charges. Sparks flew, systems screamed, and the echoing voices overlapped in a CA. Captain Reeves. Hold position. Proceed with mission. The Marines fired, smashed consoles, ripped wiring from the walls. Each action provoked new echoes, new duplicates. Langley whispered, voice trembling. Sir, it's everywhere. The whole ship. It's become the bunker. Reeves swallowed hard. Then we fight it. All in, no hesitation. No mercy. We destroy every trace. The Barrington's captain tried to send a distress signal. Every frequency repeated the same message back, unaltered. Unit 5. Hold position. Reinforcement imminent. It was no longer localized. The relay had learned, adapted, integrated into the ship's systems. Anywhere the Barrington could transmit, the signal followed. Military channels, civilian channels, radio towers. A spreading, growing presence. Santos's hands shook as he checked the readings. Sir, if we don't contain it, it could go worldwide. Every ship, every station, every frequency. It'll be unstoppable. Reeves's face hardened. Then we burn the Barrington. Every system, every wire, every piece of this ship. If it's the only way we do it. No exceptions. Langley swallowed, pale.
Sir, that means...
Us too. Reeves nodded grimly. It's us or it's the world. The sun rose over the Pacific, casting long shadows across the ship. Below decks, the hum of the relay pulsed faintly, a mechanical heartbeat intertwined with human voices. Unit 5. Orders confirmed. Hold position. Reinforcement imminent. The USS Barrington moved forward, carrying the last hope to contain the relay. A deadly, impossible force born from a bunker, now alive, now learning, now unstoppable and deep within the circuits. Among the echoing voices, one remained, Reeves's own. Calm, relentless, we never stop. We never sleep. We are still here. The USS Barrington sailed through the calm morning waters, every Marine aboard tense, every heartbeat synchronized with the mechanical hum lingering in the ship's veins. The island and its destroyed bunker were now distant shapes on the horizon, but Reeves knew the nightmare had followed them. Santos's hands shook as he monitored the ship's systems. Sir, it's still there. I can feel it in the circuits. Every frequency we try to cut, it adapts. Reeves nodded grimly. Then we end it today. Every trace. Or it spreads beyond the Pacific. Entire fleets, civilian frequencies. Everywhere. Langley swallowed hard. Sir, what about us? Reeves's voice was firm. We're Marines. We finished the mission. No hesitation. No retreat. The squad moved through the Barrington, planting demolition charges at every critical node. Communications, radar, engine controls, navigation systems. The hum of the relay pulsed faintly through the bulkheads, almost taunting them. Unit 5. Hold position. Reinforcement imminent. Each command sounded like Reeves himself, yet distorted, layered with the faint mechanical drone of the relay. Santos whispered, horrified. It knows our movements before we even make them. It predicts. Everything, Denton muttered, voice shaking. Sir, it's watching us, learning us, and it's alive. Reeves clenched his fists. Then we finish it before it learns any more. As the Marines set charges in the engine room, the first duplicates appeared. Perfect copies of themselves, moving silently, rifles at the ready, mimicking every motion. Langley fired, but the duplicates shimmered, briefly distorted, then stabilized. Sir, it's adapting faster than we can destroy it. The corridors filled with overlapping voices, every echo, every command, every whispered order now layered into a deafening chorus. Captain Reeves. Unit 5, hold position, Reeves shouted over the din. Focus, ignore the echoes. Detonate all charges on my command. Santos's hands flew across the circuits, overriding emergency shutoffs. Sparks danced across the bulkheads. The duplicates flickered, screaming, voices overlapping in perfect mimicry. The squad reached the bridge, every console already rigged with explosives. The ship's alarms screamed. The ocean outside seemed oblivious to the chaos within. Santos warned, voice trembling. Sir, we can't guarantee total destruction. The signal. It might survive. In fragments. Anywhere it finds machinery. Reeves stared at the horizon, determination hardening his jaw. Then it doesn't matter, we do this. Every wire, every console, every system. We make sure it dies, or we go down with it. Langley swallowed. Sir, that includes us? Reeves nodded grimly. Yes, if we survive, it survives. If we die, it dies. No choice, the charges detonated in sequence. Sparks, smoke, and fire ripped through the Barrington. The hum of the relay became a deafening roar, echoing voices of duplicates, Marines, and commands, all overlapping, all screaming, all trying to survive. The duplicates flickered, distorted, and vanished into arcs of electrical discharge. Consoles exploded, engines shuddered, and the ship's hull vibrated violently. Through the chaos, a single voice, Reeves's own, rang out. calm, chilling. We never stop. We never sleep. We are still here. The explosion tore through the bridge, severing circuits and shattering the mainframe. Sparks rained like fireflies. The Barrington shuddered violently, then silence. Smoke billowed from the wreckage. The ocean reflected the sun's first rays, calm and indifferent. Below decks, charred circuits and melted machinery littered the corridors. The echoes were gone. For now, Santos whispered, staring at the blackened remains of the main console. "Sir, is it over?" Reeves didn't answer immediately. He only stared at the horizon. Then in the faintest whisper carried on the wind through the shattered hull, the last echo lingered. "Hold position. Reinforcement imminent." Langley shivered. "Sir?" "It's still there." Reeves exhaled slowly, voice low but firm. "Maybe, but we made sure it can't move. Not today. Not here." And somewhere in the dark, burnt remains of the Barrington, the mechanical heartbeat of the relay pulsed faintly, a whisper of a presence that had survived the fire, waiting, learning, and perhaps preparing to rise again. The USS Barrington was no longer seaworthy. Flames and smoke still clawed from the shattered hull. The Marines scrambled into the few remaining lifeboats, carrying what supplies they could salvage. Reeves surveyed the wreckage one last time. The bunker was destroyed, the relay seemingly neutralized, but he knew better. The mechanical heartbeat, the echoes of their voices, the imitations, some part of it had survived. Santos rode silently, clutching the ruined receiver. "Sir, I think it's following us. Every wave, every ripple in the water. It's like it knows where we are," Langley shivered. "Sir, are we safe?" Reeves didn't answer. He didn't need to. Survival didn't mean safety, not with something that learned, adapted, and mimicked perfectly. By midday, the small flotilla of lifeboats had drifted far from the island. The sea was deceptively calm. Santos fiddled with the ruined radio. Sparks flickered faintly, and then unmistakably a voice crackled through. "Unit 5, maintain position. Orders confirmed." Every Marine froze. The voice was calm, Reeves's own tone, but layered, distorted, as though multiple copies spoke at once. Langley whispered, trembling. "Sir, it's in the water, maybe in the boats." Reeves swallowed hard. "It's not in the boats. Not yet, but it knows us. It always knows us. That's why we move. We survive, we hide, we adapt. That's what Marines do." The men rowed in tense silence, the echoing voice fading into static as the lifeboats drifted toward open waters. As night fell, exhaustion set in. The men huddled together, unable to sleep. Every creak of wood, every whisper of wind, every distant splash made them jump. Langley whispered, voice barely audible. "Sir, sometimes I think I hear it talking, my own voice, telling me to do things I didn't say." Reeves put a firm hand on his shoulder. "Ignore it. It's a machine, a parasite of our voices and actions. We are still real. We make the choices. Remember that," Santos muttered, staring at the dark horizon. "Sir, even if we survive, it's still out there. Learning, copying, waiting." Reeves nodded, grim. "Then one day, maybe we'll have to face it again. But today, we survive." By the next morning, the small flotilla had drifted within range of Allied shipping lanes. Messages were sent, reports made. The Barrington was listed as lost, destroyed at sea. The bunker on the island was declared neutralized. But somewhere in deep-sea relays and unused radio channels, faint signals persisted. Not enough to reach distant continents yet, but enough to form the beginnings of a presence. A ghost in the machinery, echoing voices of men long gone. Unit 5, hold position. Reinforcement imminent. The echoes were faint, but they were growing. The men looked out at the calm ocean, exhausted and silent. They had survived physically, but the relay had survived too, in ways they could not see, Reeves whispered quietly, almost to himself. "It's still out there, waiting, learning. But we'll be ready." And somewhere, deep within the dark expanse of abandoned frequencies and electronic remnants, a whisper returned. "We never stop. We never sleep. We are still here."